I shall deal with Twelfth Night or What You Will by William Shakespeare in 2 lecture sessions. In my first video on Twelfth Night, I shall at first deal with a brief biography of William Shakespeare and then summarize the 5 acts of the play. First, the biography of William Shakespeare. Every play by Shakespeare is unique. This is part of his greatness, but nothing in his heredity offers clues to the origin of his genius. His upbringing in Stratford-upon-Avon, where he was born on 23rd April 1564, was unexceptional. His mother, Mary Arden, came from a prosperous farming family. His father, John, apparently unable to write, was a capable businessman who seems to have fallen on relatively hard times in later life. The most important formative influence on Shakespeare was his school. He attended the town's grammar school where he learnt a little Latin and Greek. He lived in Stratford till after his marriage to Anne Hathaway, 8 years his senior, in 1582. They had 3 children. After the birth of his twins in 1585, Shakespeare disappeared from public record until 1592, when his works began appearing on the London stage. These 7 years are known as Shakespeare's lost years. William Shakespeare first made his appearance on the London stage, where his plays would be written and performed around 1592. After the year 1594, Shakespeare's plays were solely performed by a company owned by a group of actors known as the Lord Chamberlain's Men, which became London's leading company. William Shakespeare wrote at least 37 plays that scholars know of, with most of them labeled as comedies, histories, or tragedies. Also, there are 2 volumes of poetry and over 154 sonnets that are attributed to Shakespeare. Shakespeare moved into comedies, which were described for their comic sequences and pairs of plots that intertwine with each other. Among the most well-known are A Midsummer Night's Dream, Merchant of Venice, Much Ado About Nothing, As You Like It, and Twelfth Night. William Shakespeare died on April 23rd, 1616, and was buried at the Holy Trinity Church in Stratford. Now the title of the play, Twelfth Night or What You Will. Historically, the Twelfth Night refers to the 12-day-long festivities after Christmas that ended on the 6th day of January, as we find in the popular song 12 Days of Christmas. It marks the feast of the Epiphany, a festival to commemorate the coming of Magi to the newborn Jesus. It represents the manifestation of light or truth. This revelation of light or truth is the subject of the play, with Viola eventually revealing her true identity as a woman. Possibly, the play was specially composed for performance at the court of Queen Elizabeth on the 12th night of Christmas of 1601 and 1602. However, this apparently simple explanation of the title is challenged by the subtitle, or What You Will. It suggests that the playwright wanted his play to be taken in its proper spirit, a light-hearted comedy that could be interpreted any way one wills. This is because where no special prominence is given to any one aspect of the play, there is a wider scope for individual preference and greater freedom. Now, the source of the play Twelfth Night. Literary evidence suggests that Shakespeare wrote the play between 1600 and 1601. It was written most likely after the comedies Much Ado About Nothing and As You Like It, and before the great tragedies Hamlet, Macbeth, and King Lear. Twelfth Night was published much later as part of the first folio in 1623. The story of the play seems to have been borrowed from Italian play Ear Ingannati. GL is pronounced as ear in Italian. So we have Ear Ingannati, which means the deceived in English. It was written in 1531. An English story entitled Apollonius and Scylla, written by Barnaby Ridge in 1581, also narrates the tale of a shipwreck, a pair of twins, and a woman disguised as a man. It is assumed that Ear Ingannati was the inspiration for Barnaby Ridge's story, and that it is from either one or both of these that Shakespeare created the plot involving Viola, Sebastian, Duke Orsino, and Olivia. Now, the dramatis personae, or the characters in Twelfth Night. Orsino is the Duke and Count of Illyria. Olivia is an orphaned, grey-eyed, rich countess. Viola is a lady of Messalin. Sebastian is Viola's twin brother. Sir Toby Belch is uncle to Olivia. Sir Andrew Aguecheek is an unfortunate fellow. Malvolio is Olivia's steward. Festi is Olivia's father's jester and is now hers. Antonio is a sea captain and friend to Sebastian. Valentine is one of Orsino's attendants. Curio is one of Orsino's attendants. Fabian is a servant to Olivia. Maria is Olivia's waiting gentlewoman. And we have the priest who is fetched by Olivia to marry her to her young man in secret. Now, the summarization of the acts. Act 1 contains 5 scenes from 1 to 5. This act opens in Illyrian court and introduces us to Duke Orsino, a lovesick bachelor who has fixed his affection for Countess Olivia. Olivia has sworn to avoid men's company for 7 years and vows to confine herself to mourn the death of her brother, so she rejects him. Meanwhile, a young noblewoman, Viola, has been cast ashore on the coast of Illyria after a shipwreck, assuming her twin brother Sebastian has been lost at sea. Viola mourns the loss of her twin brother. The captain of the ship tells Viola about Orsino and Olivia's subsequent vow to mourn her brother's death for 7 years. Viola decides to pledge herself in the service of Olivia. She asks the captain if he could introduce her to Olivia, saying she would willingly serve this independent lady. But he replies that this would be a hard thing to accomplish because the Lady Olivia would admit no person into her house, not even the Duke himself. Viola then decides to offer her services as a page to Duke Orsino. She dresses up as a man and put on the most manly air she could assume and presents herself as Cesario at the Duke's court. Young Cesario soon finds favor in the eyes of this lovesick Duke, who delegates him the delicate task of wooing Lady Olivia on his behalf. Viola, disguised as Cesario, goes unwillingly as she has already fallen in love with the Duke. Olivia is so enamored by Cesario's gracefulness and eloquence that she sends her steward, Malvolio, after him with a ring. Act 1 also introduces us to Olivia's uncle, Sir Toby, who has brought a reckless friend, Sir Andrew Aguecheek, to court Olivia. Sir Andrew confesses that he does not think that Olivia cares for him and that it might be best if he left her to Orsino. Coming to Act 2. Act 2 also has 5 scenes. Viola's twin brother Sebastian, who has also survived the shipwreck, comes to Illyria. His sea captain friend Antonio is a wanted man for piracy against Orsino. Meanwhile, Malvolio chases Cesario with the ring Olivia has sent. Viola begins to realize the trouble that her disguise has created. She wonders that the ring signifies Olivia's love for her. She finds herself in the middle of a strange love triangle. Olivia's steward, Malvolio, is so priggish and conceited that others in her household, Sir Toby, Maria, Sir Andrew, and Fabian, contrive a practical joke against him. They send him an anonymous love letter which he is given to believe is from Olivia. The ambitious steward, on receiving the letter, thanks his good fortune and decides to act as per the instructions of the letter to win the love of his mistress. Act 3 consists of 4 scenes. In this scene, Cesario again goes to Olivia. Olivia pleads with Cesario not to bring any more messages from Orsino, declaring her own love for Cesario, and begs him to come again. Cesario tells her that she cannot love her or any other woman. Smiling and cross-gartered and dressed in yellow stockings, Malvolio approaches Olivia and speaks nonsense. The lady of the house, already saddened by Cesario's rejection of her love, does not know what to make of Malvolio's strange behavior. She thinks that Malvolio has gone mad. Sir Toby, Maria, and Fabian tend to him and lock him in a dark room. In Illyria, Antonio, the sea captain who saved Sebastian, offers to accompany him for protection and further aids him by lending him his purse. They proceed to make arrangements for their stay at a nearby inn. Lamenting that Olivia has shown greater favor to Cesario than him, Sir Andrew Aguichi decides to leave. Not wanting Sir Andrew to leave, Sir Toby and Fabian goad him into challenging Cesario to a duel to prove his love. Sir Toby tells Cesario that Andrew is the best fighter in the country. He tells Andrew the same about Cesario. They start to fight. Antonio sees this and, mistaking Cesario for Sebastian, fights for him. He is then arrested by the police. He asks Cesario for his purse back, and Cesario doesn't know what he is talking about. Antonio cries that he has been betrayed. Suddenly, Viola has newfound hope that her brother may be alive. Act 4 has 3 scenes. Festi goes to collect Cesario and sees Sebastian. He takes him to Olivia's house, mistaking him to be Cesario. When he gets there, Sir Andrew renews the fight by hitting Sebastian, also mistaking him to be Cesario. The latter then smacks Sir Andrew. Sir Toby draws his sword and is quickly beaten up. This time they do not encounter a woman's shrinking spirit and weak arms. They are soundly beaten up. Olivia enters amid the confusion and shouts at Toby. Encountering Sebastian and thinking that he is Cesario, she asks him to marry her. Sebastian is baffled since he has never seen her before. He sees, however, that she is wealthy and beautiful, and he is therefore more than willing to go along with her. She then appears with a priest and asks Sebastian to marry her, mistaking him for Cesario. Sebastian agrees. Act 5, it is the final act consisting of only 1 scene. This long scene brings into conclusion all the plots and the subplots. Feste and Fabian are discussing a letter when the Duke enters to court Olivia in person. Antonio enters with his guard. Viola, as Cesario, points out that he was the man who saved her from Andrew. The Duke recognizes Antonio for his past troubles as a pirate and demands an explanation. At this time, Olivia enters and greets Viola by the title of husband and rejects the Duke's love. Viola disavows the title, but the priest who performed the ceremony of marriage vouches for it. Duke Orsino is much disgruntled that his favorite page has abused his confidence. Sebastian enters and all stare at the twins before them. Viola and Sebastian are reunited. Olivia discovers that she had married the brother after having wooed the sister. Duke Orsino, convinced of Viola's loyalty, decides to marry her. Satobi marries Maria for her help in teaching Malvolio a lesson. Malvolio is freed by Olivia when she realizes that he had been tricked by her uncle and maid. The play ends with a song by Feste. With this, we end the summarization of the 5 acts. In my next video, I shall take up the 12th Night as romantic comedy and analyze some of the major characters of the play 12th Night. Thank you and have a nice day.